Hey there, fellow traveler. I see you made it past the Lion's Gate. And let's just get a little acclimated to this road that's opening before us now. It's going to lead to 8 weeks of some pretty interesting out there, far out experiences with the weird tree, but it's rooting us in self-knowledge that we've never tapped into before, that we haven't activated before. There's transformation underway. There's been a fracturing in a vision due to a shattering of illusion, and as a result, there's something coming through here that is creating cathartic destruction. It leads to the rooting of a creative force that is a legacy that is being passed on ancestrally to be rooted for the future, for generations to come. It's a bit of return to the old ways. There's a rebirth of the old ways. There's a rebirth of knowledge from our ancient ancestry that's really coming through and being rooted at this time. And there's a progression underway that's leading us on a new campaign. And so I do want to tap into this energy and see what's in store. And we're going to set the tone, get the overarching theme for the quest before us with the ARCANE BS. And then we're going to dive in with some straight up cartomancy and a little angels and imps action to lend us the perspective of both shadow and light from an alchemical perspective. Now, I had a really unusual goddess energy come forward, and I don't ever think that that's accidental. It's always going to have connecting points, and I certainly found cross-cultural connecting points with this goddess. The goddess that came through was Ame no Uzumi. Someone just called her Uzumi. She's from the Shinto tradition. She's known as the laughing goddess. She's also the goddess of the dawn. And she's connected to mirrors. She's connected to mirrors because of the way the ocean on the east side of Japan reflects the rising sun, which is just so poetically beautiful. And she's a bit of a bardic goddess, I have to say. There's something about her that is quite theatrical, playful, even challenging norms to quite a radical extent. And there's a very interesting story about her that connects to the sun goddess Amaratu, who went into hiding in a cave due to shame that was cast upon her by her brother Susanoo. And all of the kami, all of the deities had been trying to coax her out of the cave because the world had gone cold and there was no light. Everything was being plunged into darkness. And none of them had been successful, no matter how hard they tried to free her from her shame. Amaterasu just couldn't bring herself to emerge and bring the light that was needed. And I just found that so fascinating as I was diving into the roots of Uzumi and finding out about this connecting point, because we've had Prometheus come in. And I love the cross-cultural reference because it does tie into these messages that have been weaving in here, these storylines. And this is often how I get my downloads. I get my downloads that pull gems from traditions all over the globe, because my downloads are meant to come in as a unifying force in a world that's divided, where there's a lot of clashing. And so a lot of times what I bring in, it can be unsettling for some people who are really rooted in one perspective or one tradition. And yet there's something about this energy coming through that this bucking of tradition needs to happen if we're ever going to address what has been fractured, on the timelines, fractured on the timelines. So there's been something here that's been fractured, but there is a way to prepare for a repair. Okay, prepare for a repair. There's something coming in relation to this. Prepare for a repair. Well, in order to prepare for a repair, you have to have knowledge of what is needed to repair and also what is being repaired. So there's some kind of identification of this. Whatever it is, just for this tale to come in with Uzumi and Amaterasu, it does give me the feeling that it has something to do with returning some kind of light to our life, some kind of light to the world, some kind of light or spark within another. And the story really does exemplify maybe how we need to go about doing this, because Uzumi finally came forward and was like, I got to handle this. I got to get Amaterasu to bring the sun forward, because now she's messing with my game, you know? I mean, how am I supposed to be the goddess of the dawn if I don't got any sun to work with? So she pulled that light from within her to reflect out into the world. And the way she did that was she started going into this really uninhibited, cheeky, it's very bodacious ballet broad, like kind of dance, very burlesque, campy kind of dance, where she was bringing a lot of humor into it, and she was being quite vulgar and comedic while she was, you know, pulling this off, exposing her breasts and exposing what mystery lies beneath her waist. And there was all of this real kind of demonstration of things that would seem almost obscene or taboo, but it was sparking a lot of laughter and joyousness in the kami. And when Amaterasu heard all this ruckus and everything that was stirred up outside her cave, it lit something in her. It reminded her of the spark that had been snuffed out by shame. So she found the courage to go explore. Curiosity got the better of her, and the sun returned and the light shined again. And there's something of relevance to that lore that is weaving through this portal of transformation that we entered into today on 888 Lionsgate 24. The High Priestess steps into her power and finds a way through the crossroads by activating self-knowledge. Knowledge that can only be informed through being plunged into the darkness. Sometimes that's what it takes. You have to be plunged into the darkness before you can discover your light. You have to lose your power before you can find it. 8:22 on the clock. That's what's up. That's what's up. The blind spot becomes the light that shines through the Empress. Wow. All right. I'm digging this energy. Let's dive into it. This card wanted to be left behind, so I think this is quite foundational in terms of an overarching theme for our quest. Ooh. You're so effing effed. Or are you? Maybe this is where the story just gets cooking. Maybe you've never been through a transformation like this before. Never have you been in the place where you found yourself sitting in the belly of the beast and it was devouring all of the stories you had spun around your view of yourself, your view of your world. And now all of that is unfurling. It's almost giving me the impression of it's like a mystic rose. I'm seeing this rose, this red rose, and it's unfurling, but there's fire around it. There's fire around this rose. There's a gentle process underway. It's a subtle process, but it comes with a lot of heat. It comes with so much intensity that it could be mistaked as something that is your undoing when it's actually your exaltation. It's something that's really moving you to a deeper place of raw authenticity than you ever have before. And I don't know why I got this. Maybe it's because Uzumi did come in and she is associated with theater. She has that quality to her. She's very theatrical. She puts on quite a show, and she's a merrymaker. She's a bit of a prankster, a jokester in that way, but in a way of benevolence that creates the dawn, that no matter how dark it may get or how heavy it may be, there's a way to see a spark there, a spark that does become a torch, that is able to be bared to find the way through what seems dark territory. So you may be thinking you're so effing effed when really it's just the devouring of parts of you that are really outdated, man. There's something that's going through a revision, and it's you, and it's like you're getting your new lines. You're getting your new lines for your role. You're discovering where you were on the villain's arc. You're now on the hero's arc. Where you were on the hero's arc, you may have questioned, do I really want to continue to be on the hero's arc? You may have felt like you kept finding yourself, needing to spring yourself from the jaws of life, you know? You felt like this path was just devouring you. It was a hungry feast for hungry ghosts, and you were the main course, you know? But through that, you see, it's that impenetrability of the diamond. You are becoming the diamond. You're starting to see yourself more clearly. You're starting to show different sides of yourself. There's a multifaceted quality here. And once you've been devoured, well, then you're truly liberated. That's the irony of it. You know, we look at the Shiva, the Shakti, this energy, this interplay of energy is both the impregnating force of the world, and it's also the destructive force that dissolves it into nothingness before it can spring to something new. And there's no way avoiding this, you know. There's no way of avoiding this. The wheel of Kala is ever turning. And there's always going to be these cycles that we move through, the births and the full expression, the ripening of it through our lives and the way we play our role. And then the disintegration of that as it comes undone, as it unravels, when it no longer holds up to our ability to take on new character development. And it is coming through as quite theatrical, and all of life is a play. And this is a theme that's coming through right now. There's a way that you can view your life with more of that spirit of Uzumi, more humor, more theatrical exploration of your role within your circle, within your career, within your community, your family of origin, and where you're going now, who you're connecting with now. But I do feel there's a little bit of this, the heat is on moment here. But what's being devoured is false. What's being devoured is something that must be consumed in order for the clarity to come. It's part of polishing the mirror. And see, this is what's being devoured, the Frodis. The Frodis that has protected you from seeing your true role in the world, what you're here to do. It's the thing that has kept you from activating your potential. And in some cases, forming connections with others who are too tapped into this lower vibrational energy. This is also being consumed by, that's funny, consumed by the fear mongering. And it's your fear that's being consumed right now. It's almost like a direct confrontation of fear that is dissolving as you start to realize that the story is changing, right? I was just noticing here, what made me laugh is this figure. It's almost reminding me of Uzumi doing her dance, you know, very curvaceous here. Yeah, and this is what's trying to be silenced too. The more that we can be merry, the more that we make merry, the more that we create, the more that we're joyful, the more that we celebrate, the more we're present, the more we light our spark and have the courage to bring it forward, and we use that spark to remind others that they hold that spark too, then the more the Frodis loses control. The Frodis can't operate through that upliftment of energy, through that quality of really just being in the pure pleasure of being alive. The pure pleasure of being alive. There are things that we've been told are the source of happiness that have been revealed to be corrupted. And there's still joy in being alive. There's pleasure in being alive. You won't find it in what's marketed to you. You're going to find it in simple things. Things that gave you joy before you grew up and bought into the program and viewed this as being a successful person, to have these acquisitions. You know, people always say, go out, touch grass. It doesn't seem like much, but yeah, go out, touch grass, man. Take it a step further. Knock on the earth. Put your ear to the ground. Listen. You'll remember things that you lost long ago. This energy coming through. Okay? There's stories that are emerging within you. There's stories you have to tell. This is the way that we always used to pass on wisdom. Around the campfire. Stories. That's all fairy tales are. That's all lore is. That's all any of this is. It's oral tradition. There's a lot of oral tradition that's awakening now. Some of you may not even know where this oral tradition is springing from. It's the stories. It's the stories of your ancestry are opening up within you. And you're meant to be the mouthpiece for it. You're meant to bring it through. There's something about that that acts as a way shower. Sharing our stories. Sharing our stories. Seeing the connecting points of our stories. It's a great place to start. You see how the change comes in through creativity. It breaks the spell of the surveillance state. It breaks the spell of the frequency of what's transmitted every night on, you know, the prime time news, what we see blasted across the headlines and rolling down our algorithm. It breaks the spell when we do these simple things. The more we do these simple things, we align with our truth. So there's something that we have become a bit plugged into here. And there's a truth that's sneaking up behind us, kind of trying to get our attention, telling us you're not going to find answers coming through. This is for, I feel this is coming through as more like a greater global collective kind of message here. But you're not going to receive your answers from headlines or from your world leaders. That's not where the answers are going to come. So you can't look to that. It's really like, hey, you. It's like this sort of truth is coming to kind of like tap you on the back, like, excuse me. And when you turn around, that tip of that sword's pointing at you. It's saying you're the answer here. So yeah, on a macrocosmic level, of course, that plays out in relation to this bigger movement of the global collective moving into the dawn of a new era, the age of Aquarius. But on another level, on a personal level, this is you really recognizing that there's a different place you need to look for the answers you're seeking. And if you turn around from whatever you've been kind of focused on or you've been trying to resolve, something that's been a bit puzzling to you, you're going to recognize that you have the answers you need. You have the answers you need. There's also something, I've gotten this before, it's coming up again. There's also something about, you know, coming across things that you have written in the past, and it's almost like you left a little message for yourself. Your past self had a bit of precognition, left you messages messages that give you a different insight now than when they were first jotted down, or maybe you don't even remember writing these things. This could be something in a diary, in a journal. This could just be creative notes, like if you're a musician, just like random lyrics you were writing down or something. But there's a bit of that's oral tradition too, that's coming through, that's revealing a truth to you. It's like your former self is telling you the truth about who you are now, and it's making something very clear. There's an impenetrability that's achieved here, but it's also the breaking of a spell that has cast a glamour over you. The glamour has been oriented, though, to thinking that something that has a very corrosive influence is more powerful, and it's not true. It's not true. Corrosive. That's a very interesting word to come in relation with that. Yeah, I see. There's something here that really has been cleansed away. We keep getting this. There's judgment coming through. So you did successfully make it through an initiation. And I know it may be feeling a little hot as you go through this final tempering, but you'll see very soon that you made it through the 8th house mysteries of Scorpio, and instead of ending up in the pinchers, you were able to grab this by the tail. And this is also awakening within you more of a sensitivity where you're really going to be able to be tapped in energetically moving forward. You're going to start picking up on a lot more subtleties here. But absolutely, there's something that spiritually was cleansed here. There's also the power of the liminal spaces coming through. Dawn came in for a reason, okay? That point before that first light comes through, or when the last rays of light are starting to disappear on the horizon with the sunset. Those liminal spaces, those twilight spaces coming through pretty strongly. It's like the light is starting to emerge, or the light is just starting to submerge, but the other luminaries are still present. That's when you do kind of have that balance of solar lunar energy. There's something about that time being very cleansing too. So if you have any particular spiritual practice, any kind of devotional practice, you might want to work within twilight, whether you do something right with the rising sun or as the sun's setting would be a good time for any kind of spiritual devotional practices you have, however you practice. This is non-denominational, unable to be labeled coming through. It speaks across all different spiritual traditions, okay? So however you connect to source. And there was something that was a corrosive force, but I do feel it was operating more subtly. It's the fact that it was the subcurrent, or it's something that was underground. It's something you had to mine for. You had to dig deep. You had to go really deep into the roots of something to effectively grab this by the tail. I feel like you went so deep that you actually were able to kind of do a bit of a U-turn. I'm almost seeing it like that. I don't know why it's coming through like that, but it's how I'm seeing it. It almost reminds me of somebody who is very familiar with journeying work, you know, knows how to do that, knows how to go down into the underworld and move through the realms in that way, in a very visceral way, because I have this impression like going really deep, you know, and it's almost like, you know, there's this tracking almost of this corrosive force, something that's hidden, and you're able to kind of track it energetically, and you dug a little bit deeper than it, and it allowed you to do this kind of like U-turn action where you were able to loop back around and catch it by the tail. Like you took something by surprise, and that's what cleansed it. It's like it's lost its grip on you. It's lost its grip on you. Ooh, pretty wild how that came through. Very unusual energy. There's a judgment in your favor. And that's the thing, you know. People think just because something gets a little intense or it gets a little hot, you know, that doesn't have to imply any kind of negativity. Birth brings its own pain too, right? We know what's going down here. It's of significance. It's an initiation. And something will never be the same. This particular force that tried to get you caught in its pinchers, tried to grab a hold of your energy, wanted to take you deeper into the underworld, deeper into the shadow side of Scorpio. For me, this is really coming through in relation to all the Mars-Pluto transits that we've been moving through. It's all that material that we were sorting out. And I got real strong here, that whole round where we were dancing with the devil of Pluto moving through Capricorn. Real mean and heavy territory, you know. There's something here, that particular devil, whatever you were dancing with there, that was the last dance. That was the last dance. I love it. That was the last dance. Yes. You gleaned your harvest through it, though. See, you're grabbing a hold of that cosmic carrot. You're pulling a diamond out of the void. You successfully identified the corrosive force and you pulled it out. You pulled it out from the root. There's no more connection here. No more connection here. And I could see this too, whatever this force was. It could still be kind of like trying to monitor you because it's trying to locate your energy. And yet a truth is about to also sneak up behind this force and make it clear that they've been looking for their answers in the wrong direction. They're about to have to confront themselves. I feel like ultimately this character is going to go through a very similar process. I mean, it's always a mirrored experience in that regard, you know. They're also going to have to be devoured. The false aspects of themselves need to be devoured so they can go through the fire of truth and be tempered. And there's a reviewing of records here, you know. I see it really strongly. Okay, let's do a cut of the deck. So we got this new beginning here. So let's see if the split of the deck can give us the overarching theme of the quest before us as we move into this energy, and then we'll go into some particulars here, get some more detail. I love it. Yeah, this is something that bit the hand that fed them. This is something, there was supposed to be loyalty and there was deception. And there's like almost like energetically a returning of the favor here. Because of the way you moved, though, it's not like going through some kind of strategized means of get back. It has nothing to do with that. It has to do with the way that you just went through the fire, like no resistance. You went through the fire. As you had to confront fear and as you had to confront grief and loss, instead of avoiding it, you did the opposite. You plunged yourself deeper into it. The more deeply you plunged yourself into the grief, into the wound, the more you went into the center of it, the more the heat started to build, because it's like getting to the core of something. It reminds me of saying moving through those different layers of the earth until you get to the center, you know. There's these different qualities that you pass through, and something about that deep dive, that deep digging process, you know. It's like mining. It's mining for gold, but in order to truly get to the gold, it takes a lot of strength. It takes a lot of resilience, you know, as you pass through the different layers of really going down into that metaphorical underworld. And you got through the stage where you had to go through the iron cord to get to the center. And that's where you really gained your strength. You gained your ability to hold it. Also, you became impervious to any kind of malevolent kind of energy or force, because it took a lot of strength to get there. There's no way that you can even go that deep until you've already had to fend off quite a bit, and most of it's self-generated, you know, stuff within yourself. But you did that, and you got to that fiery center, and that's where you are right now. It's like you're in the core of the earth, and you are being composted so that you can emerge inhabiting a renewable energy. And this character will go through the same thing, you know, but it's because you gave over to it and you didn't try to fight the process. You didn't project onto the other. Instead, you say, okay, you know, my shadow is here to dance with me. I'm being provoked here. There's something that is causing these feelings that I normally don't confront to bubble up to the surface in me. And some of those feelings, depending on your background, could have been things like rage, you know. Maybe you were taught that it's not okay for you to express your anger. There may have been really poisonous attributes, qualities that you had to transmute by imbibing a bit of it. And we imbibe it by not resisting the ugliness of what we're seeing, or not trying to sweep it under the rug, but going deeper into it. Direct confrontation, not looking away from the mirror. Instead, really keeping your eyes fixated on the reflection and saying, I'm going to go deeper. I'm going to go deeper. You ever done that? Have you ever done mirror work like that, where you just hold your gaze as a meditative focus? They say eyes are the windows of the soul, to go deeper into your soul. And it's really interesting when you do this, because when you stare into your eyes in a mirror, mirrors are portals of sorts. I feel like when you can engage in it in a conscious way, it can show you different layers of yourself. But there's this place where your usual reflection starts to morph before your eyes. And it really is like a play of shadow and light. And there's so much that's seen there. It's like you looked into your own soul. And because you did this act of betrayal, of biting the hand that fed them, lost its hold. And in doing so, it's like they are paying the balance due that frees you from the crossroads. You got your key here. Look, the key comes in with 8 on Lion's Gate. Okay, so you've retrieved your key. You have the key you need. And maybe you had to go through this experience too, because there's something that you came into this world with that needed to be karmically resolved. We all have karma here. Karma means work. It is the work that we all are here to do. Every one of us, man, all of y'all, you're all karmic, okay? Everybody is karmic. You're here to do work. You're here to refine. You're here to alchemize. You are here to step in to the power of the magician, of the high priestess. You are meant to activate that in you and to transform yourself, to heal yourself, to refine yourself until you remember, until you have self-knowledge about who you really are, that there's no separation between you and Creator. I am. That is the consciousness. But see, we divide it because we say, well, I am this, but I'm not that. But no, I am is all of it. And when you recognize that, that's when you tap into the deepest well, the creative well. Okay. And sometimes that well is filled with fire before the water comes in to cool things down, you know. But I do feel like you needed to go through this challenge because maybe you faced off with this energy in the past, in whatever form it took. And in the past, you chose a different route. You chose a route that required you to have to balance something out, you know, in this life. But whatever this is, it's like the tables have turned, and it's providing a mirroring effect, because like it or not, you know, this nemesis, this opposing force, whatever this was for you, it came to be a mirror for you, to teach you, to refine you, and to help you learn how to temper your own energy and exalt your response. There's something here that moved you out of fear. Your impenetrability comes through confrontation, because now you don't have this fear warlording over you. Instead, you grabbed fear by the tail. You have a clearer view of who you are. And I feel like it works both ways, you know. This is a dance that you've been through many, many times with this character here. We got Rhubarb Tony. You see, this is something ancient. We look at pterodactyl. This is ancient activation of knowledge coming through. Look at the way the wings are spread. It almost looks like the opening of a book. Do you see? This is what's opening up in you. You're going through the fire, but it's the opening of this ancient knowledge that's been here since the dawn of time. And it's passing on the wisdom of Venus, with rhubarb here is associated with the planet Venus, Venusian energy. And I love how we got this kind of emperor sort of figure, very dressed down, you know. Rhubarb Tony, you know, he doesn't need to front his power with any kind of external trappings. He can just be, you know, your everyday man and stand in that strength. He's starting to see that the strength also comes not in just the warring side of Venus, but in the love, the beauty. Like this kind of energy is starting to weave into, it feels like it's weaving into a very masculine character's sense of identity in a very embodied masculine way, masculine expression. That's what needs to be understood, okay? Interesting here. Okay, so there's something going through a major transformation. It feels like a complicated situation, whether this is with a friend, a lover, maybe even more than one character for you. The objective is to act on this knowledge that is awakening in you and to tell your story. Weave a good tale here, okay? Because your stories are your medicine, and it's all about the role you choose to play. You're going to be stepping into a new role. You're going to be finding new characteristics emerge within you, especially over the next 8 weeks. You might go through a pretty radical metamorphosis. I'm picking up this energy here. There's something about you that's going to be very different, and it's something that happened first as a seed internally, but now it's breaking through the ground of your being, and it's going to be recognized externally, all right? So this is coming in with that solar energy. It's outward expression. It's not internalized anymore. And this could have something to do with your physical appearance. It could have something to do with the way that you're communicating, or some aspect of yourself that you never shared before that you're bringing forward here. This could be a relationship choice that you're making, or some kind of work that you're doing. There's something hidden here that's revealed. It comes from a more vulnerable place within yourself. I think this is really that influence of Mercury entering Leo right before that total eclipse. And that total eclipse is giving me that impression. It's sort of like curtain call, okay? It's like you're there, you're behind the curtain, and you're waiting for that eclipse to pass, for the light to come back and put a certain spotlight on you and what you're about to do, or how you're about to show up here. So let's get some more details about this, coming on through. The angels is. Let's see what happens. How does this story open up here as the curtain rises? Oh, we got a little shadow light influence out here right off the bat. Well, it wouldn't be theater without that. You got to have comedy and tragedy here. We got some extra shadowy influences coming through, and we have a page of cups coming forward here. So this is some kind of news coming through, news that brings you a level of divine comfort. So there's some kind of message coming through here that confirms something that's been just between you and spirit. I think this renews your faith. It gives you some kind of consolation too. And protection from an energy that has opposed you. It makes you impervious to whatever this is. And I hear Ted outside there. So let me in. Let me in. So let me in. Maybe that's what Ted is transmitting to me right now. Let me in. And somebody may be saying, let me in. Come on in. Come on in. You just want to hang out? Aww. I love it, Ted. I love it when you come in here, sweet little fetch boy. You're a sweet baby. He wants to come in and join the conversation. Yeah, he just wanted to partake of the energy. Yeah, you've successfully navigated a particular battle here, and I do feel like you did it in a creative way. You have the harp there, this energy of divine warrior. It's like you're retrieving something here. You're retrieving some kind of gift. It does remind me of Ula, that harp of the Dagda that is able to very cleverly defeat opposition without any kind of force. It's more done in a creative way. So there's something about that. There's something being gifted to you. It's like a magic or an empowerment that you're going to hold that's going to give you the ability to overcome a pretty formidable opposing force in a very creative way, very unexpected way that's going to very much confuse the wicked, okay? It's going to confound them. There's something about the way you pull this off that's going to make others feel like they have no idea how you achieved this. Because they were really sure that they had you right where they wanted you. What were they planning? Oh, of course. Here comes Apophis wanting to steal the sun. Yeah, it's not the first time you've been at this rodeo. I mean, this goes back to ancient Egypt, good old Apophis, trying to steal the sun, trying to come poking at you too, maybe poking from behind. I'm seeing that sword that came through with the robo-dodo, you know, kind of coming behind too to say, hey, 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 hey. You know, it's that influence, that kind of like that little pestry sort of influence. I'm still here. I'm still watching. I'm still here. So it can engage you in that like lock of the Chinese finger trap, you know, where you kind of are poking at each other. Only you're not poking anymore. You started to suss something out. You're very good, I feel, at noticing patterns. And I think you'll recognize this when this tries to surface, because it sees that you're getting around something in a very kind of crafty, playful way. There's something about the way that you're showing up. The light of it is aggravating. It's aggravating. Apophis wants to maybe try to cast you in shame, just like Susanu did to Amaterasu. But I think that's why that energy of Izumi came through. You're meant to really work with this sort of wily, comedic, theatrical, you know, part of yourself. You're supposed to let a side of your character emerge that you normally keep concealed. It's like whatever that thing is that you conceal, that makes sense. Whatever this is that you conceal, it might be a part of you that others tried to shame, you know, in some way. They told you you were too loud, or you're too much, or you take up too much space, or you're annoying, or whatever this is. You know, they tried to shame you. Use shame as a way to cloak this, because it's actually the source of your power. So I think that you'll spot this, because there might be a little bit of this kind of like trollish energy coming in. You know, people trying to get it in your head, trying to program your brain. So you start to dim your light. So you go back in the cave just as you're bringing your spark forward. But I feel like because you recognize the pattern, what's going to happen here is it's going to make you not only bold, but very intelligent. Like there's a way that you navigate this where I feel like it proves somebody wrong. It's almost like there might have been some kind of projection coming through here that you were underestimated, or somebody thought you were stupid, or you were blind to what they were doing, or you're just really like out to lunch, head in the clouds, not able to have any kind of grounding or awareness. Like they really thought that you were just, it's coming through as an idiot. As an idiot. But the opposite is true, because there's treasure that you hold that is being revealed. And that's what really frees you from this holding pattern. That's what causes this to lose a hold over you, because no longer can this be cast onto you. Something is really seen about who you truly are here. And this is going to start to disrupt the hold that this character here has had on others that they joined forces with to work against you. It's almost like a smear campaign, but it's being disrupted, because now I think where you used to be caught in this, maybe trying to defend yourself, you gave up defending yourself. Instead, you said, I'm just going to let, you know, how I show up be what speaks the reality of who I am and what I'm here to do. I'm not going to get into this argument, because you recognized in some way defending yourself became like a hook. Feeling like you had to like fight back. It became a hook. It became something that was feeding off of you. And you cut that off. But what's happening now is that within this group, these characters are starting to point fingers at each other. So now they're in this gridlock position. And there are certain people within this group that are really seeing what's up here. They'll also go through this fire of transformation. They'll recognize what they've kind of gotten ensnared in. They'll let go too. And as they do, it's going to earn you excellent familiars, because people are going to understand a lot more about certain moves you made where they didn't get it before. They didn't understand, why are you reacting like that? Why did you do that? Why did you walk away? Why did you stop, you know, hanging out with this person? Why did you leave that job? You know, whatever this is, they're going to start to get it. They're going to start to see. And so that's going to bring some more harmonious forces your way. But I would say with this, you know, even with this, because it does look like there's something that does balance out here, but it's balancing out at a critical point for you where your road just opened. There's this major like accumulation of energy that's building here, and it really breaks through after that sun emerges after the eclipse on that new moon in Leo on the 12th. And what happens is it's like this just like force of built up light that has been contained, that it immediately like lights up the track, and it has you moving at the speed of light too. There's some kind of really quick forward progression in the storyline on your path in developments here, because of what makes you more bold and more daring. Because if you've already navigated this stuff, what's up ahead, it's nothing for you. You'll handle it like, you know, like you could do this with your eyes closed. You've been so used to navigating the dark and just finding your way through those long dark hallways that you don't need to rely on external information to guide your steps. You can really feel your way through. You can sense when there's an obstacle on the path and how to move around it. I feel like that's also that kind of energy of catching up Scorpio by the tail. You've developed this kind of sensitivity, okay? You'll feel this creeping up to you before it comes, and then it's like it's going to be confirmed when it shows up. So you'll know exactly what this is. You'll know exactly what this is. And you do need to be aware of even, you know, friendly forces, you know, where there's a turning of the tide in how you're perceived by others who used to kind of be pitted against you. It feels like by one central kind of Apophis like character who wants to snuff out the sun. This is an agent of the dark side, whoever this character is. Like, they're not interested in building the light at all. This person runs on the energy of destruction. It takes that to create balance in the world, as much as people just like that. There needs to be a balance of shadow and light. And this is somebody who 100% works for the shadow, is an agent of the shadow, and is able to plunge others into the shadow within themselves. This person can come onto a path as a teacher, and many people can find liberation and get free from the direct confrontation of the shadow in this way. But there's also those who fall and they're lost to it, you know, and they get caught. They get caught in the trap. They get caught in the trap. They continue to battle with the shadow rather than recognizing what holds the shadow in balance is to also feed the light. You can't focus in one direction too long. That's how it ensnares you. So I do feel like where there is the desire to balance things out, there could be people coming in here that are still compromised a bit because they're still engaged in this kind of like, you know, tit for tat with this shadowy figure here. It is something to be aware of, and it's right as your road opens. So be aware of what you let in, but I feel like your intelligence is really razor sharp here. Razor sharp. You already had to balance on a razor's edge, and it was dicey for a while there. So I feel like you're able to have a certain level of focus and discernment that will keep you centered on the horizon and not kind of taken in by these energies here, all right? You'll also be able to determine like, okay, who's cool and who, you know, who do I need to be a little bit aware of here, but not so aware that it divides my focus. You know what I mean? Okay. Let's do a cut of the deck with this, and then we'll get some cartomancy on it. Four of Swords. Yeah. See, there's somebody here, they come in peace. You know, Four of Swords is about wanting to lay something to rest, wanting to create peace in a situation, or something comes toward you, maybe that at one point it would have felt like an answered prayer. And sometimes an answered prayer can come through, something coming in that at one time in your life, it looked like a desired outcome. And at this point in your life, you now have a new perspective. And when you can really see that your desires have changed and how you perceive a situation has really shifted, that also puts you in a different kind of alignment with the power you hold. And so there is something here that I do feel it's going to come in like it comes in peace and it comes offering some kind of truth. But at the same time, you look at this and it appears like a soldier to you. It's like you're able to understand the subtleties of subterfuge. But there's also not any kind of like warring way that you deal with this. You deal with it like Uzumi. You don't lose your humor. You don't use your light to cast another into shame either. It's more like your light is exposing. It's exposing the fact that you're able to stay in this place of your playfulness and bringing forward the light that you do hold. It's exposing for the one who comes in peace but really appears as a soldier. It's like it shows who they really are. There's something public about this too, I feel, that's very evident here. Yeah. Marked as the fool, you see? Marked as the fool. There's something you're hitting the mark with here. And it's through a little playfulness. You know, it's very crafty, but it opens up the road for you with the Fool. Because of your will to stay focused, you're going to be able to hit the mark. And this is going to lead to a new beginning. And it doesn't matter how difficult or great the undertaking of this campaign that opens now. You've earned your wings in some respect, and you're going to be able to find your way through because you've hooked up these energies that were holding you back. You've got all these energies hooked up. There's been a negotiation here, just like Ishtar. I mean, Lion's Gate. It is Ishtar's Lion's Gate. You know. When Ishtar was down there hanging in the underworld, she had to release herself from that hook by cutting a deal for another to take her place. And that's what this is. Somebody's taking your place. You see, but there's a greater purpose to this than plays out in the soap opera dramas of human egos. This is just the way that we all teach each other. Even those who do oppose us, even those who bring injustice into our life, we each play a role in our evolution, in our ability to grow as alchemists. So yes, you have a lot more understanding now about the creation of the world. And I'm speaking that from an alchemical perspective. You understand that before you go slaying any demons outside of you, you first have to confront the demons within, the things that feed off of and distort your energy. And I'm just going to label those demons, you know, those qualities of fear, those qualities of envy, malice, gluttony, you know, the seven deadly sins, that energy, you know. You pulled out everything that was keeping you attached to this energy from the root. This situation, whether you were dealing with this with an entity or you were dealing with this with a particular person, or some kind of circumstance you were put in, this allowed you to transmute all the darkness that had been projected onto you that you still had within your soul's signature from previous incarnations. Some cycle has really been completed. It's like pressing the restart here. So everything's about to be brand new. And I think you might be surprised how much you change and how differently you're perceived and how differently you see yourself and how much your life transforms over the next 8 weeks. There's something about some kind of dramatic reveal here. It's underway. All right, you get one more round of cartomancy here just to add final details to this message. All right. Those energies that could be coming around that are still connected to whatever this opposing force is, they could also be trying to renegotiate with you too to free themselves from the hook. They may have just gotten on the hook. And while you had to hang out there for a while, they just got put on the hook. And they're like, I can't handle it. So they're hoping they can swap places with you. Be careful about, be careful about who you let in on certain levels. And you know what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying. When you're in your power, you can interact with anybody, when you're really rooted in your power and you're rooted in your truth. And you know what's what on your path and what you need to do. You already got the memo. You already got the assignment, and you're on course. It doesn't matter who you're dealing with. You can stay centered in that energy, right? But you also know that you don't need to go to certain spaces, places with those energies either, lest they have a corrosive influence. All right. Okay, any final details you want to bring through on this, Spirit? Yeah, we got Queen of Diamonds in the shadow here. So I feel like somebody got greedy. Somebody got greedy. Somebody also talked in a lot of ears. Queen of Diamonds is an energy of a bit of a socialite, This is somebody who likes to get the word out, to a lot of people. She has an eroding effect within social circles. She penetrates to the inside of social circles that are solid and very quietly, imperceptibly erodes through the use of her words, through gossip. Right, so this character here, front and center. This could be somebody too that has some kind of status. Some kind of status that they use to their advantage. This may be the energy that starts to attempt to resurface here. And I say that because something is coming in for you with the 3 of Clubs. They already sense a disruption in the force field. They feel like the tide has turned. They don't feel like they're on the same stable ground that they were before. They don't feel like they're in their power. They feel like something has worked against them. In some cases, they feel like the way they worked that room, the people that they talked to, who, they put the word into, whispering in their ears, oh, let me tell you something, but don't pass it on. There's something about this too, about the way this person shares this, like they almost flatter the egos of those that they share this information with. First of all, because I feel like this person has some kind of standing, or there's somebody that's recognized. A lot of people know them. They may have some kind of popularity, or they may have some kind of affluence or some kind of social status. So they got a lot of people in their pocket. They also got a lot of people's pockets that they have access to too. I hear like it works both ways. Maybe this person also gained that affluency through working people, They do know how to work people. They got the gift of gab. And I feel like the people that they have this sort of very subtle erosive influence on, they give them gossip, but they give it with the delivery of exclusivity. Like, I'm not telling anybody else but you. And I know that, you're somebody that deserves to know about this. Like they try to give this feeling of exclusivity. It's total bullshit. It's total bullshit. It's balderdash. This person, they seed it in many different ears. They seed it in many different ears, and then they slightly change it a little bit. So soon it also creates confusion within the group, creates infighting within the group. This is somebody that gets sent in also, maybe by another, to turn a group of people against each other. Ooh, blind spot, hidden enemy. Hidden enemy. 12th house energy. Blind spot. Hidden enemy. This person does everything concealed. That's how they come through. They come through as a friend, but they work against you. They make a lot of promises. That's another way they cater to people's ego or vanity. It's always the big sell with this individual. Always the big sell, but what they bring is a death to your dreams. Wow. This is like an Empress in reverse kind of energy. But you're not going to be fooled by this whatsoever. You're up to this person's game. You know how they move. You understand how this person moves. And I think that's what's kind of shifting the dynamic here, because I do feel whoever this character is, they know. I heard they don't have the ground to stand on or a pot to piss in. Okay, so something really is turning tables here in a situation where somebody's been getting away with moving forward in a coercive way. Coercive. They're definitely teamed up with somebody else here. I feel like there's somebody's mole. Like they get sent in by somebody to weaken from the inside. I'm picking this up on a macrocosmic level too, I have to tell you. Oh yes. Hidden under the light of the moon. Distortion. They create distortion, destabilization through confusion, through illusion. They create this, they craft this with their words, with the way that they spread gossip, with who they talk to, the way they manipulate the narrative from within to create destabilization within groups, to create factions. This is a mole energy. This is a mole energy. But I see you've already overcome this because you had the wisdom. You're the first person that saw through this, I feel. Other people have had hints of it, but they haven't seen how deep it goes. Like there's something really so meticulously orchestrated in the way this person moves. With this 18 energy, the moon, this person could have occult ties, okay? This could be somebody that's also being sent in because of that familiarity. They might run in those circles. They could be taking down an occult group too. They wanted to dismantle a group from within, destabilize it. Something about getting to the leader of that group by separating them, like kind of ousting them. Somebody who used to have a position of power in a group. Ooh, this is interesting messages coming through with this. All I know is you were able to see something. It might have required you to really separate yourself, distance yourself from a group of people, a community of people, as it's speaking on a collective level here, okay? There's right now, I'm sure you can tell, there's like an intermingling of Mick and Mac energies coming in here. So just to kind of bring it back here to the focus of our collective here, you're able to see through this. Your ability to see through this and to say, okay, I'm going to take my fire out of this situation. I'm going to direct my fire in moving away from this. And you got recentered and you used your fire to light your way forward. You didn't know where you were going. And I feel like you're still kind of in this place where you are in unknown territory, but at the same time, it's like you're okay with that. You're okay with not really knowing what's up ahead because you know that you hold the power in your hands. Like you're very aware of what you're dealing with here, the nature of it, and you are seeing signs of some arrival coming in. You are. It's something that's been really held up for a long time. You already recognize that you're on a different timeline from this. You know, that's the thing too, is people can get a little bit confused when we talk like quantumly about like all these different timelines. It's not like somebody's carted off to a different realm, a different land, and you're not seeing them. No, it's like, it's still going down in the simulation, right? It's still going down in 3D. Like this person can still come onto your path, but they can't affect your energy because you're on a different timeline. So your expression in the 3D is going to be different than the expression this person has on the timeline they're on. I feel like they're on a fractured timeline. They want to figure out a way to kind of bridge that gap so they can merge on the timeline you're on, because they need to catch up with you here. It's almost like different levels, you know. That's why different levels, different devils, you know, that saying can come through, because it's like once you go to a different timeline, right, then, you know, there's new challengers up ahead. But this is an old challenger here, whatever this is, something that you've already overcome. You already have successfully overcome this with the 6 of clubs. And if you doubt that, there's going to be proof of that showing up here very soon. Very soon. Within the next 8 weeks, you're going to see proof that you overthrew whatever this is. And it's no longer an issue for you. It doesn't mean there won't be an attempt, but they'll find their way blocked when they attempt. You see? All right? And in the case, if somebody is on the occult path, if somebody does work with casting, whatever they cast, you were able to transmute it. It was sent as shadow, and you've been able to transmute it. This comes as a tower for this character. It becomes your chariot forward. All right? Some corruption is really being caught up here. And I feel that on a big level. I think there's going to be some kind of group that gets dismantled on a macrocosmic level. And when this happens, there's going to be news spreading like wildfire. And there's something really shocking about it, because it changes the course of humanity, okay? Show what that is. Yeah, ooh, we got like these crossing shadow cards here over this tower. What is this? 8 of Hearts in the shadow. Queen of Clubs in the shadow. Wow. Yeah, this manipulation is really catching this person up. Whoever did this, somebody's being called out here. I see it. Light is being shined on what this is. There's no more operating in the dark. What's hidden is revealed. It nullifies a contract, and it brings alignment for you. Theory of 11. This is your alignment point coming in. You're no longer in the dark. Justice comes in. Turning of the wheel of fortune. And there's something about a hidden contract being revealed too. That might be like the smoking gun, like some kind of hidden contract. A soul contract is absolutely being dissolved. I mean, I see that very clearly. Let's do a cut of the deck to cap this off. See what we got. Whew, they're bitter about it. Jack of Spades in the shadow. They want to lash out. They want to lash out. They're trying to figure out, you know, even after realizing it didn't work, you know, they're trying to, you know, move away. There's the part of them that just gets up in their head and is relentless in, it is really coming through as like besting in some way. And you got spiritual law on your side, right? They may be caught up too by somebody that worked with them as well, you know, that sort of cuts them off at the pass as they try to, you know, bring some more action your way. Interesting. Very interesting. I mean, there's just the expounding on the message of infighting within a group. Dissolving of party alliances. Something is really crumbling. The foundation of something is crumbling. 114:15. It's like the temperance angel is battling it out with the devil. It's total spiritual warfare, but it's like it's going on a macrocosmic level. And on a macrocosmic level, it's playing out in the, you know, geopolitical sector. It's what we're seeing go down, you know. all over the globe. It's what's heating up to a real hot point, but it's also that transformation point too. Something's really coming to a head here. Let's get some numbers of significance. Let's roll the dice. Yeah, I love it. I mean, look at this. We have 11 coming in here, all right? Alignment. The change is underway. You're freeing yourself from the crossroads. You got alignment, justice on your side. You're moving forward really rapidly here, okay? Good energy. You're moving into that dawn of the Aquarian age. Got the house of Aquarius coming in here very powerfully. On the side here, we also got 3, 1, 4. 3, 1, 4. So we have Leo energy out here, Virgo energy, Gemini, Aries, Cancer, Libra, Sagittarius, Scorpio, Aquarius, Capricorn, Pisces, okay? I think life path 6, life path 5, life path 2, 11-2 specifically, we'll see the most initial progression as a result of this change that's underway here. Not far after that though, life path 3, life path 1, life path 4 will catch up, life path 7, life path 8, okay? It's like they got a little bit more foundational stuff to attend to. You might still be trying to catch something up before you're able to move forward, but I feel like, you know, there's a couple others here that are leading the charge. Life path 5s, life path 6s coming through to bring justice, balance in a situation, right? Or life path 2 as well, okay? Also, we do have Taurian energy coming through here. With the energy of the Hierophant, we have the Lovers bringing that critical choice, you know, to the forefront here. A choice that really does need to be self-generated too. There might still be too many choices being made based on outside authority structures, with the one energy coming in with Gemini and that signature of the Magician. This is about self-transformation. This is about taking creative license over the choices you make, activating your own self-knowledge. Also, 4 energy coming in with the Emperor here. Yes, very much stepping into the ability to take the action that feels right for you. We got Empress here too, okay? Emperor to Empress here. Emperor, Empress are finding a vehicle forward with one another too, right? So there's something that's being balanced out here in the give and take as well. It brings about renewal, new beginning. All right. Let's check it out with some messages too, just to see what wants to come through here. Wanted to do a real good deep dive portal report for Lionsgate, because I know this is like the point when things really start to pop off. Do expect, you know, the rebirth as well of some BS, you know, but it's nothing that you're not able to navigate. Laugh it off when it comes your way. Don't take any of it too seriously. It's just not worth it, you know. This is coming from somebody who feels very jilted, okay? Could be coming from a jilted lover, right? I got D in connection with that. Dee. This could be somebody who feels like, you know, no matter how much they try to catch up with you, you keep running further away. They may even feel like you're playing with them, like you're laughing at them or something. It is coming in with the Roman numeral 12 here. So yeah, this, something eerie, interesting. Got Lake Erie coming in relation to this too. Something eerie. I also got Eris. Okay, so this person is feeling a little bit chaotic right now, whatever this is. There's something eerie about it. I don't know. There could be a Lake Erie connection too, but somebody feels jilted in this situation. And they feel like no matter how much they try to catch up to you, you got the ball here and you're like a quarterback running to the end zone. And they can't run you down. So they might kind of try to stir things up even more. Like that could be something that could slow you down if they create like a really kind of like chaotic, dramatic situation. It makes you like slow down and look back. Something could catch up with you. This is an alchemist. Got alloy coming in here. This is an alchemist, whoever this is. I got the name Noah. Right? You may have just trusted spirit, you know. You trusted spirit. You're like, quick, you know. Hop on the ark. There's a storm coming. Take what you need to take with you to see the future and just ride it out to get to the other side. Yeah, I feel that, okay? Spirit has been your main ally here in navigating something. You're getting signs of land up ahead where you have felt like you've been navigating some stormy seas for a while. Also, macrocosmic level, there's interesting allies being formed on the seas in relation to blockades and the naval force. There's something interesting that's brewing there, okay? I got GPS. So you're really about to feel like you're onboarding your directions for your next steps. For a while you've been just kind of like winging it, you know, finding your way through, but something's really going to become a lot clearer as you're moving forward here. I got the name Earl coming through. Erlene. Perline. Might be hearing about somebody getting caught up. I got jail. A call from jail. Got the name Juan in relation to that, okay? See if we got any places coming through. Tulsa coming on in. Tulsa, Oklahoma has been coming through for a while. I mean, we had Lake Erie come in, so that's interesting. I got Oahu here. Denver, Colorado. Something linking back to January in relation to Denver, Colorado. Has to do with some kind of riff. Okay? Something that created a riff. Goes back to January. Connected to Denver, Ohio. Denver, Ohio. What the heck? Denver, Colorado. There could be an Ohio connection. I mean, I do, yeah. I mean, I do have Ohio here. Okay, maybe there is some kind of connection there with the way that came in. All right. Somebody's about to take a leap in relation to that. I got the name Jay in connection with that. And I got Lua on the other side there. So there definitely could be like some kind of a Hawaii connection. Maybe something that even links all those places together, like Oahu, Ohio, Denver, Colorado. The name's Lua, Jay. Okay, interesting. And with that, I have Nut coming through, the goddess of the night. There's that Egyptian energy coming in again, okay? So something here that is about to go down on somebody's birthday, okay? Well, I mean, Leo season, somebody could be a Virgo, somebody could be a Leo. It comes in like the night to settle a rift. And I have Ine in relation to that. And I'm not going to expand on that. Those who know what that is, okay? Something has been fed properly, and so something is being set right. It's being set right. It comes in like the night. And with that, I got a hoe. A hoe. All right. Anything else? Got Rio. I heard that Duran Duran song. Her name is Rio, and she dances on the sand. With that, I got the name Dan. Danny. Danielle. Daniel, too. Dana. The D name is significant in relation to this. It's a D name that is very significant. I got Ori coming in now too, okay? We definitely got like some root workers in the mix with Utah coming in there, ironically. Root workers with Utah is like fascinating to me. But yeah, I mean, they're everywhere. But it's just kind of funny. It's not what Utah is known for, okay? But I do have it here. I got Pele coming in. So there's a lot of Hawaii reference here. There could be somebody named Pele of significance. And with that, I got DF, Divine Feminine. Okay. North Dakota. I got the name Faye. It also makes me think of Morgan Le Fay. All right. We definitely have some like real goddessy types here. We definitely have some here that work within the traditions of the old ways, which are many from many different cultural backgrounds. And also many different places where they intersect. It's cool energy here. And again, we have Ula here. So I do feel like you're getting some kind of empowerment here that helps you have the energy you need to overthrow a force in a very creative way. So I feel like something's already kind of like, it feels very secured. It feels like it's already in the bag, but there's like one big moment here that's coming in when it really is revealed that some long drawn out battle has been settled. And then a new road opens, okay? A new road opens with new challengers. It's always the way it is. It begins again. New levels, new devils. But all I know is this is your time to be on the rise. And you got this. You got this, sis. I heard that. You got this, sis. I got the name Rhiannon coming in relation to that. Somebody is a sorceress. Somebody's very tapped into source. All right. Godspeed.